I wanted to ask about what you as a leader learned during COVID about the value that citizens put on life. The kind of jumping off point for this question was there was an article in the New Yorker that said the following. An opposition politician named Brooke van Velden declared at a medical technology conference that Ardern's administration had put far too much emphasis on saving lives. Quote, when it came to COVID, we completely blew out what the value of life was, she said. I've never seen such a high value on life. Uh,
Now, we're not stopping, but I just wanted to, because I tweeted it this week and
Oh,
I've got it. I've got it right here. I just want to read that to you again. Now, Brooke van Velden does try and bring some context to it, which we'll get to later, but this is the quote, right? I've got it here. When it came to COVID, we completely blew out what the value of a life was. Completely. I've never seen such a high value on life. Jacinda Ardern's government was about having a high value on life. Yeah, I'm okay with that. Yeah, yeah. I support
wow.
that. I support that. And just remember, not that I've got. It's the conservative right that always go off at the left for things like, oh, they would abort a 40-week abortion. They have no value to life. Yet the right, a representative of the right, is the one going, oh, that's too much value, too much value on life. Now, my contention is it's bullshit. And I've got a few receipts to show you as we go through. But let's get to the end of Jacinda answering this question about the citizens, that the citizens put on life, the value that citizens put on life.
Velden declared at a medical technology conference that Ardern's administration had put far too much emphasis on saving lives. Quote, when it came to COVID, we completely blew out what the value of life was, she said. I've never seen such a high value on life. Van Velden became a minister in the new government, they
Yeah.
note in this article. That quote is so crazy on its face.
Yeah.
But I wanted to sort of unpack the sentiment a bit and understand like maybe what you learned about what value people put on the lives of others versus their own personal freedom and
Yeah.
how that impacted choices you had to make.
Yeah, and this is such an interesting question because in policy making and in government policy, there are some areas where there will be called to put a number or a calculation on human life in that way. And when I think about, for instance, we have a scheme called ACC in New Zealand where you are compensated for injury or accidents or, in some cases, loss of life. And so there are some areas of government policy that quantify these things. But the idea of doing that, the idea of saying, well, at this particular point, that investment, that trade-off means that, that we'll have this hit to our economy and that cost is too high, that seemed both crude to me, but also wrong. And I think the point that perhaps is being missed in her statement was that she's making a claim that there was a trade-off when actually our view was a strong response to COVID was a strong health response was the best economic response. If we didn't...
Yeah. Sorry, Joey. I just need to take a bit of a moment and go out with a bang.
Remember?
Good.
Remember, fam? And then...
And-
Some of our society's most cretinous made her existence so unpleasant that she left the country.
Now,
We should
you
never
may
let
not
those people away with it.
you may not remember, but when I was a kid, we had this prime minister called Jacinda Ardern. It's nothing like the prime ministers you have now. All those 2 years
What
ago,
was the COVID response as far as the economy? We should make sure that people don't die
yeah,
because the economy is made of people.
60 seconds to go for this clip.
Respond to the fear that people had. People would self-exclude from the economy anyway.
Right.
And so managing and trying to pursue the strategy we did, which was elimination of COVID, we felt did both. A similar experience I remember when we were working on mental health. It was a big focus for us as a government, and we were called upon to come up with a target for suicide reduction.
Oof.
And I remember really grappling with that, the idea that setting a target and somehow putting on display that you had a tolerance for something where we clearly had a role to play as government in the provision of mental health service. And so in the end, even though I knew it was unrealistic, we said our target is 0. Because why say you have a tolerance? And in many ways, I think we took a similar approach with COVID. If lives could be saved, we should be saving them.
Oh, Chewie, I think we need to play parts of this every night. If lives could be saved, we should be saving them. Flip that over into any policy now. You know, if help could be given, we should be given it. If a house is there to be used, we should be letting vulnerable people use it. It's just, fuck me, it's a different world we live in today. And I want to say this again, and I know there's probably no crunchies watching right now, but they might see this clip. You guys chased this person out of the country. This person could still be Prime Minister right now. You guys in your wackadoo stories and Russian misinformation got sucked into a hole of chasing that empathy and that care out of this country and out of her job when we could still have that compassion and care. And the thing is, what she just said is what we just said. The compassion for people and their health needs was also the best response for the economy. It's exactly what we just talked about with Jansenetti. If someone comes into work sick because this government has cut the sick days in half and they make the other 4 people in the office sick, it's actually worse for the economy. A good health outcome is actually better for the economy as well. But no, we'll chase her out. We'll sit on their front lawn. We'll call her all the worst names in the world. She'll be potentially, and this has been reported, that she might be the first Prime Minister to need security the rest of her life. And that's the response we could have had to tariffs. Ethical, moral, compassionate, good for the economy. It's so infuriating.
The person that said that the value of life had been blown out, like, she's not putting a number on it, but that one comment just shows, what value do you put on someone's nan? Yeah. What value do you put on your brother or sister? What value do you put on the person that you like? It's just such a cold metric. And that minister, the person that thought that was okay to verbalize to other people in a setting where it was obviously recorded and noted down, is now our workplace minister
for
minister
safety,
for workplace relationship and safety.
The person who thought there was too much value on human life is now responsible for the safety of human lives in the workplace. Think about that for a second.